This week on the Steam Machine Podcast, I send Snood, please respond. Cue the music! Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me as always are my good buddies.
It's the Destructo Bros at you once again. It's Nate.
It's Willie. How's it going, my friends?
It's going pretty well. Right off the bat, I have a question for you guys because I want to get this out of the way. Mules. Yeah, okay. For some reason, when I said that, it didn't sound right. Mules are just small donkeys, right? Pretty much.
No, if I remember correctly, a donkey is a hybrid of a horse, and a mule is a hybrid of a horse and donkey.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is a sterile hybrid. Yes.
I was only asking because I went and saw the Strudel Man today, and when I was on my way home, there's a where the grocery store I used to work at, 3 driveways down, there's this big house, but the yard is really long, and they have, I'm going to call them donkeys, but they're small.
Smunkies.
They're not super big, but they're
Smunkies.
Smunkies. Okay, they're smunkies. And some of them are gray, and some of them are almost cow patterned looking, and dude, they're the cutest fucking things. I just wanted to pull over and hop the fence and go pet every fucking one of them. There were 10 of them just chilling out by the fence near the road, just eating grass. And I was just like, oh my God, you guys are freaking so cute.
Dude, I love little animals like that. Animals that you expect to be bigger than are small, like miniature versions of dogs or anything like that. It's always so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, these things probably stood, 4 feet tall. Mm-hmm. They weren't very big, but they looked full grown to me because I didn't see any other big ones roaming around. So maybe they're miniature donkeys, jackasses, whatever you want to call them.
Teacup donkeys.
But God, they were just
teacup donkeys.
So there used to be a farm around here too where the guy had a bunch of emus, but I don't think he's got them anymore.
How much do they like My Chemical Romance?
How much do they? I don't know. I didn't know the person personally.
No, you said emu. Emu.
Oh, yeah.
Not an emo farm. Sorry, Willie.
No, not an emo farm. The emo farm where the grass cuts itself. That's a bad joke. Lord, I apologize. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway.
All right, we're already doing Larry the Cable Guy shtick. This episode sucks. Cut it. We'll see you next week.
Oh, man. What have you guys been up to?
Well, I just got back from vacation. Had a really good time down in your neck of the woods, Dalton. Just did a bunch of stuff. Spent some time on the beach. Had a really great hotel where we had a balcony view of the ocean itself, which is a great way to wake up in the morning, Uber eat you some Dunkin' Donuts, coffee, and just sit out on the balcony, sipping your iced coffee, watching the waves come in. That was a dream come true right there.
I'm giving you claps for iced coffee because fuck yes, sir. Iced coffee's delicious.
Oh, yeah, dude. Iced coffee in Florida, it's the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck yeah.
I'm iced coffee, gang. If it's 32 degrees outside, I'll still drink iced coffee.
Yeah.
If it's 31, we can negotiate.
It's got to be just below freezing before you'll decide on hot coffee. I feel you.
When I was up in New York, all the ice cream places were closed because it was Christmas, and Ryan's like, "Yeah, nobody wants to eat fucking ice cream when it's 2 degrees outside." And I went, "I do."
I know.
And he's like, "Oh, we can get some from the grocery store, but we just can't go there." He goes, because we were having some strudel in the car, and he was like, "Damn, ice cream does sound pretty good." And so we ended up going to get some ice cream from Kroger. But
dude, I'm down for ice cream all year round. I'd be the kind of guy that goes to Dairy Queen in December. You know what I mean? I can do ice cream whenever.
Yeah.
God, that sounds like an album name.
Dairy Queen in December. That is the next Nile the Nightmare album title.
mental note.
So when you type ID DQD on Doom to get invincibility, DQD is short for Dairy Queen December.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, it was just a really good vacation all in all. I got to go to a lot of local restaurants. And of course, when I'm in Florida, all I want to do is eat fish because y'all actually have fresh caught fish at many restaurants. So I was enjoying my time with some mahi and some grouper. Like, those are my two favorite fish. So, like, I was in heaven, man. It was just a really good time.
This dude is a known grouper groupie.
I am a grouper groupie.
So I brought this up when we were talking before the show, but I want because I know there's a place in St. Augustine that you went that I want to talk about specifically. But the place you didn't go, because I was like, I would recommend this, but I don't know how, like a romantic getaway going to this place at the Torture Museum.
Yeah.
Right. So when I was in there, so I don't know how much you know about current Chris Jericho, but he's using a move called the Judas elbow because he wrote that song Judas and Fozzy, right?
Yeah.
So I tweeted him because in the Torture Museum, there's an old torture device that is called the Judas Cradle. And I tweeted him a picture of it and I said, dude, this is what you should call the walls of Jericho now, is the Judas Cradle.
Oh, shit.
And he never tweeted me back. And obviously he didn't do it. But I was like, it would be cool if all of a sudden on TV it was Judas Cradle, because I am the only person that would have been like, fuck yeah. That's fuck yeah.
Dude, one of the coolest things that happened while we were down there in Florida was pretty wild. It's like, we were just laying on the beach because we were just having our lazy time, just laying on the beach, just drinking some water, getting some sun rays in our face. And all of a sudden we just see this big crowd of people all gather around on this corner of the beach, and there's just one guy with a fishing pole. And so we're just sitting there, like, watching him. And, like, why are all these people around him? He just keeps reeling it in. And, like, he keeps, like, coming down the beach further and further towards us. And he's just starting to reel it in closer and closer. I'm like, that's a shark.
Nice.
That is a damn shark on his line. And finally got it in. And, like, it just so happened that, like, when he reeled it in, like, we were probably, like, 15 feet back from the water. And he reeled it in directly in front of us. So I got, like, this really good view of this bull shark. And it was like 5 foot long, and it was thrashing like crazy. Like, and then he let it go. I'm like, well, I'm not going back in the water today.
Man, I've seen like drone footage and stuff flying over the beaches in Florida and California, and there are people swimming, and like 10 feet away from them is a shark swimming around, and you just never know it.
I know,
and that's so terrifying to me.
Yeah, it is. It honestly is, and like the fact that those sharks will come up to right to where you will be. Like, yeah. Like my wife, she like I said, she lived in South Florida growing up, and like she had a teacher that only had one arm because it was in a shark's mouth at one point, and the only reason he escaped because he kept punching it in the face, and he was able to get away with just one less arm, but still here. So that's a win, right?
And to further spread the ridiculousness of Florida, I personally know 2 people who have been bitten by a shark. So yeah,
was it the same shark?
I don't know. That's a good question. But my one buddy got bit by a shark, and then like a year later he got hit by a car, and then like 6 months later he rolled his truck. So I'm just starting to think he's just bad luck.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that was just such a crazy situation seeing the shark, and like all this fun stuff in Florida just kept happening, man. And it was just like a really good time. Like, I was bummed that I didn't get the chance to meet up with you at all, but like, you know how when you're on vacation mode and things just keep coming up.
Oh, bro, it's a whole thing. No, I get it. Yeah. That's why when I first brought it up, I said, dude, if there's any free time, let me know, because I absolutely know how that goes. There's a place. I think I brought this up to you a little bit off the air, but there's a place in St. Augustine that's called Beachcomber. It's one of my favorite restaurants. It's like right on the beach, and they're super cool. Like, I mean, I took a girl there one night, and it was right at closing time, and we had our drinks and our food and stuff, and then I said, hey man, is it cool if we leave our truck parked in the parking lot and then go sit on the beach for a while? And he was like, oh yeah, dude, just don't leave it there overnight and you'll be fine. I was like, cool. So we went out and sat on the beach, and it's beautiful. I don't know if you got a chance to go sit out there at night, but it's like so peaceful. Like, all you hear is the fucking waves. And then there was one person out there with a flashlight and a metal detector walking around, just like trying to find what they wanted for the day. But like, dude, I love that whole area. So like, you picked a fantastic place to go for vacation.
Yeah, and it was just so fortunate, like, that the hotel room was just right there on the balcony with the ocean view. Like, you couldn't have asked for a better time. And I love Florida. Like my wife jokes that I transform into Florida Nathan when I go down there, that I'm just chilling, having a good time.
Bro, you sent me a picture of you, and I was like, that motherfucker got off the plane and put on a Jimmy Buffett shirt immediately. I bet.
He do got that Jimmy Buffett energy the moment he gets down there.
I loved it, dude, because those shirts are so fucking comfortable.
God,
People
yeah.
say what they want about them. They're so fucking comfortable.
Oh, they really, really are, man.
I love a Hawaiian shirt, man. Like, I wish I had an excuse to wear Hawaiian shirts more often.
So we have to bring up the restaurant that you ate at.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
So,
dude. Yes.
It's definitely a highlight, too. Because, like, I saw it when I was driving in, and I was like, we got to go there while we're here, Kayla. And she was like, all right, we will. And so we ended up going there. It's this restaurant called Taco Libre, which was a luchador-themed Mexican restaurant. And I'm like, if there's anything more Steam Machine than that, I don't know what it is.
Right? Especially since we had just played Guacamelee recently.
Yeah, like this place was awesome. Like it had the sign was like a giant luchador mask, and you go in and there's like paintings of luchadors all over the walls. And for some reason, John Cena. I mean, that's okay. But like the menu was really good. They had like specialty tacos. I got one called the shroom taco, which had like chicken, mushroom, and then 2 types of cheeses on it. And it was just delicious, along with a chimichanga. It was just such a good restaurant, but it was just so great seeing all the luchador stuff everywhere. It was just like, man, that was like meant to be for me to go there.
And what's fantastic about that is I didn't know that place existed, so now I have a new place to go try next time I'm in St. Augustine.
Yeah, and the food was really good, too.
I loved the decorations you showed us, though, dude. That was so awesome. Like, all the pictures. Obviously, there was the John Cena and the Becky Lynch and all that, which is hilarious, but fucking, like, all the cool pictures, like Rey Mysterio, Mystico, fucking, like, older school, like, luchadors, and then, like, the fact that then they did that and then the menu didn't get weird and gimmicky with it either.
Yeah.
Like, because the menu could have just been like, oh, this is El Vampiro Fajitas. But no, instead it was just like, no, here's some Mexican food because food is good.
Yeah.
I know you're not much a golfer, but if you would have been, like, so not far from St. Augustine is the World Golf Village, is what it's called. It's probably like a 30 to 40 minute drive. If that actually matters. Anyways, but there's a restaurant
I'm sorry, when you said, I know you're not a golfer, I thought you were doing a reference to the Big Lebowski.
Oh, obviously you're not a golfer. Yeah.
When he holds up the bowling ball, yeah.
No, but that's brilliant. I love that scene. But I don't know what just triggered this in my head. I guess talking about the restaurant, which I do have another comment about. There's a place in the World Golf Village. Not only is like the PGA Hall of Fame or whatever there, and there's a big ass IMAX theater, but there's a restaurant called Caddyshack's. And I don't know if it's a singular restaurant or if it's a little chain, but it's owned by the Murray brothers. And you go in there and there's a bunch of fucking memorabilia from like Caddyshack and those movies and stuff. It's really interesting. I do not know what sparked that fucking memory in my head, but yeah, it's a cool restaurant.
Nice. And there's one more thing that I really wanted to do. Like, we thought about doing it, but we were like, I am not in shape enough to do this right now. Let's come back in a couple years and do this again. But, like, there's this tandem kayaking thing you can do at this place. It's a little bit, like, I think it's like an hour outside of St. Augustine at the Guanatolamato Matanzas National Estuarine Research Reserve. And it's, like, this really cool kayak trip, like we were watching some YouTubes of people doing it, and like alligators, turtles, like all the cool wildlife. There's manatees down there, like just something we would love to do. And like, if this was like me 3 years ago, I would have been in shape enough to do it. But thanks, Rona.
Man, fuck some alligators. Like swamp kitties, they're cool and all, but like I want them to keep a distance from me. The one I found in my backyard that time was only like 3 or 4 feet, so that wasn't so bad. But like, those fuckers get big.
No,
dude.
they're absolutely horrifying. I love them.
I used to do like canoeing and kayaking in Boy Scouts, and we'd be going down Ichituckney and stuff. Which, by the way, if you ever come to Florida and someone tells you that they call Ichituckney Itch Me Touch Me River, they are full of shit, or they're just a college kid from Gainesville and don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay, anyway.
That sounds kind of racist, man. Like, oh, we found this word that's funny because it's an Indian word, but we're going to say it like it's a nasty English phrase. Yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah. But yeah, you'd see alligators and stuff, and it would be like, oh, let's just keep going. Dude, I saw a gar.
Oh, God, yeah.
that was like 10 feet. It was fucking massive, and it was just swimming underneath us. And my scoutmaster's like, oh, look, there's a gar. And I looked down and I went, Jesus fucking Christ, if this thing flips over, I'm just going to die. That thing's just going to eat me.
Those things are
happen.
like prehistoric looking too. Like alligator gar. Like alligators themselves are obviously prehistoric, but the gar, dude, those things look like they're from that same time period. Like they're scary looking fish.
Absolutely. And speaking of manatees, just one quick story is one time in St. Augustine, I went fishing under a bridge with a buddy of mine. And I'm sorry, it wasn't St. Augustine, it was Cocoa Beach. Probably the same, it's the same ocean though, I believe. You know what I mean? Just longer down the coastline. And even that I could be wrong about, so who the fuck knows? Anyway, we were fishing off the bridge, and all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, and I reeled in my line and got them to reel in theirs because there was just like 2 or 3 manatee just came swimming by. And I didn't want to hook them or anything, you know what I mean? So, but it was just so cool sitting there and watching them. And I'm just like, man, how the fuck do sailors think you guys are mermaids?
Yeah. How the fuck did Christopher Columbus decide to fuck one of you?
Like, what in the absolute fuck? But yeah, whatever. But they're so cool. They're so majestic looking.
Oh, yeah,
and they swim
awesome.
so slow that they like have algae and stuff that grows on them because they just don't move all that fast.
Yeah, they're like the sloth of the marine world.
Yeah. Fucking wonderful. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go check out that Taco Libre. I keep wanting to call it Tacos Luchos, but I'm like, that's not right. The Taco Libre. But yeah. So Willie, what have you been up to this week? Anything interesting?
So while he was on vacation, I actually went to his house in Middle Tennessee and watched his stupid ass dog. I don't know if you know this, but some dogs just fart and burp a lot. But she does it like it's her freaking job. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But like, absolutely, aside from that, just the coolest dog. Just absolute wonderful person to be around. Just chill as heck. So, you know, I mainly just hung out around there. Ate a lot of frozen food and some fast food in the joint. And had a really good time. Got to clear my brain. You know, I had nothing else to do that whole time. Nate compensated me for that time in such a way that I did not have to worry about work. So I could spend that time actually thinking about like plans and cool shit I wanted to do in the near future and all that. So like, I don't know, it did a lot of really good stuff for my mental balance. And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that because it was definitely doing me a big favor too. Because like I know when we mentioned it a few weeks ago that my other dog died recently, so like I really wasn't ready to leave her alone for any extended period of time. And usually when we go out of town, we just have her brother come and check on them once a day and make sure they're fed and have water and stuff. But like I just wasn't comfortable leaving her alone that much, so I was really thankful that you were able to do that. So I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, man. I mean, she really wasn't any problem. I mean, except for smelling really bad. And do not get me wrong, really awful smells at times, just ghastly shit. But like, dude, seriously, aside, just wonderful, wonderful time. And you like, I don't know, the fact that I had access to your like Switch and I could play old video games, like that was the first time I actually accessed the Sega and Nintendo 64 online. And while the N64 didn't work too well and the game selection kind of sucked too, the Sega was a lot of fun, man.
Nice.
Got to play a lot of Contra Hardcore a lot. Oh yeah, what's up, Dalton?
I was incredibly disappointed that the Genesis collection did not have Comic Zone. That was the one game I was going in there to play, and I was like, no, it's not there. I guess I'll play Phantasy Star 4. What the fuck?
I mean, hopefully that's one they'll add, because you know they like to slow drip the release of some of these games. Like, did you notice that the only Sonic game in the Sega collection was Sonic 2? I'm like, they're gonna slow drip some more out for sure.
But
and
2 is also the best. 2 is the best Sonic game too, so I can understand why they would put that one up.
So,
but like fucking like I mainly played Castlevania Bloodlines and fucking.
Contra Hardcore.
Contra Hardcore. Contra Hardcore is like I've played Contra 3 before, which is the Super Nintendo 16-bit Contra game. They are basically the same thing in that it is freaking impossible to know what's happening until you've already seen it once. Like, seriously, go in there and play like 10 games of Contra Hardcore or 10 games of Contra 3 if you've never played them before. You will not know what's happening until you've been killed by it every time.
I got
Bloodlines was pretty good though.
I haven't played either of those. I did play some of the Sonic 2 because Sonic 2 is the first Sonic I ever owned on Game Gear back in the day.
Sonic 2 for Game Gear and Sonic 2 for Genesis are completely different games, I believe.
Yeah, the one on Game Gear was way harder to play than the one that's on Genesis because I could actually see what was going on and stuff. But man, that one riff, I want to learn it on guitar. That
oh yeah, the chemical plant.
It's so fucking groovy, bro. So good.
Dude, the music for the 8-bit or 16-bit Sonic games is so good. I mean, there's some good ones in the 8-bit Sonic games too, but the 16-bit Sonic games are just... and Sonic 2 was, like, probably the best. But also fucking... I played Toe Jam and Earl for the first time. Like, when I grew up with them, I was like, yeah, this doesn't look interesting to me. I don't get what Toe Jam and Earl's all about. I actually sat down and played a full-ass game of Toe Jam and Earl and got about 80% of the way through the game. Like, I got up to the rank of Homie, and I had 8 of the spaceship parts out of 10.
I hate the name to that game, but I love that game.
Yeah. I mean, it has some really good music and stuff, and I don't know. Like, I was starting to get it, but then I got really mad because it sucks when you can't progress anymore. Because it's very much like it's a classic roguelike in a lot of ways, where it's like, it's a lot about inventory management, identifying objects and things like that, and then figuring out how to, manipulate it and move around things. But unfortunately, you eventually reach the point where it just fucking sucks to play.
Yeah. Been there. Actually, the first Toe Jam and Earl that I ever played wasn't on Genesis. It was I think it was Xbox, Toe Jam and Earl Back in the Groove or something like that.
I think that's like maybe the newest one.
Oh, okay. Then I might be wrong on the name. It was whichever one came out for the original Xbox. And it was fun for what it was. You know what I mean? I was entertained by it. I was like 8 or 9, so it was funny to me at the time. And
I did find it a lot more amusing than I expected to. And like, especially because a lot of the games in that 16-bit like Genesis just, they didn't hold up very well if you didn't grow up with them. No,
I agree. I have this weird memory tied to the Toe Jam and Earl series, and I was sitting in my cousin's house because he owned the game, and we were in his room, and I was playing Toe Jam and Earl on his Xbox, and I was singing "Californication" by Red Hot Chili Peppers, and my cousin looked at me and he said, "Do you know what that song's about?" And I looked at him and I said, "No." And he looked at me and said, "Okay." And he dropped it. And I was like, then of course I'm like 8 or 9, like I said, so I'm super curious. And I'm like, "What's it about? What's it about?" He's like, Nothing. You'll find out when you're older. Don't worry about it."
That's the worst thing you can tell a kid.
Yeah, right.
But I did find out when I was older that whole song's about porn. So I was like, oh, all right. That's why he didn't want to tell me back then. That makes sense. So shout out to my cousin Kevin, who doesn't listen.
Yo, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. Kevin and Earl.
So I didn't really do too much this week. We got a new lawnmower, and so my dad's been talking about getting a new lawnmower, which I'm cool with because I've been using a push mower, and fuck that during Florida summer. Let me tell you. Sometimes it's so fucking hot that I would mow the backyard and wait a day and mow the front yard, and by the time the third day rolled around, the backyard needed cutting again. Like, dude, it is insane how it gets here sometime in summer. So now we got a John Deere riding mower. You can tell it's a John Deere because it's bright fucking green and yellow.
Dude, that color branding is so on point. Seriously, like, say what you want about like all this, redneck mythologizing about John Deere or whatever, but fucking, dude, that color scheme is so on point. You can tell it's John Deere the moment you look at a John Deere.
Yeah, and I don't know what's called up my dad's ass because, and not in a bad way, but like he got that mower, and then I mentioned, I was like, well, this will be good.
I crawled up your dad's ass.
Okay, quick sidebar. My buddy George, I mentioned earlier, who's the DM, but we talked about him in the Patreon. Yeah. One time, he's a bisexual man, so we were sitting in the garage one time, and he had on a wife beater, and we were enjoying some strudel, and it was me, him, and my mom sitting there, and I said, "Oh, you got the guns out today, George. You trying to impress my mom?" And he went, "Or you're dead." And I was like, I just thought that was the most brilliant response ever. Anyways, what was I talking about? Fuck, I don't remember.
John Deere riding mower.
Oh, right. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry that it is so easy to be distracted by bisexual people.
It is, man. So I made a mention that like the weed eater that we had is like all right, but the battery dies really quickly, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. And then me and mom were talking about that we can't figure out how to rethread it because it's an older one and it's not one of the ones that I can just pop open and put new thread in. It's somewhere between that and the automatic ones, so I don't know how to work the motherfucker. So I wake up today and I walk out back and there's a brand new big fucking shiny new weed eater, and I'm like, what the fuck? I guess I'm going to be doing a lot of yard work this summer. But other than that, I deleted Septimus, the mod pack that I've been playing. I'm going to wait for Septimus 3 to come out for Skyrim stuff, by the way. It's the Skyrim chat. Because I kept running into some bugs in Septimus that were persistent, and it was bugging the shit out of me. No pun intended. So there's a new mod pack out that I'm trying called Wildlander. And it basically takes Skyrim and turns it into an actual RPG game. So, like, for instance, let's see, you have to eat, you have to drink, you have to worry about being cold and things like that. You have to...
I don't know about that survival type shit. It seems like it just adds a bunch of fucking... I'm sorry, continue.
So, they also added to where, like, some of your skills and stuff start at 0. Like, everything, you're not good at everything. And it takes work to raise your skills up. There's some kind of mod that gives everybody a name. So even like people who run at you that would normally just be like named Hunter, like they have a name and stuff, which I think is a nice little touch.
Hunter could be a name.
But there's just like a lot of role playing elements to it, where like especially like with the stat building, and you don't heal unless like you apply like a healing potus, or you drink a health potion and stuff. Like you don't just magically heal. Your stamina recharges at an incredibly slow rate. Like you have to like chill, and like after you've drained your stamina, you got to like hang out, sit down for a minute, and your guy's stamina will come back up and stuff. So it just kind of makes the game more realistic-esque. It's more like an RPG set in a fantasy world, as opposed to whatever. Like I can actually turn dragons off if I wanted to in this version. But I'm not gonna. But I might set them to only spawn at the walls. That way they don't just randomly come out of the sky and kill me because... Oh, go ahead, Willie, before I finish up.
I'd like to turn dragons on.
Damn it.
Oh, in human form, or you just want to get completely destroyed by a big old... well, let's not go.
I'm not saying I wouldn't like to get completely destroyed.
As I was saying that, I was like, oh, never mind. Let's not. But the other thing that I find really interesting is like... damage like fucking counts, bro. Like your armor and stuff matters, because I got jumped by somebody. Like, so you get little choices of how you want to start, and you can choose the original opening if you want, but I went with a like crossing the border at Helgen, but not the original style. So I'm just walking up, and I came upon these two bandits that them together fucked me up. Like I died twice to them, and I never die in Skyrim.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've died in Skyrim, and this guy walked up to me, hit me twice with his sword, and like I was down to like, I don't know, half health or so, and he shield bashes me, knocks me on my ass, and it takes down more health. I stood up, and before I could get another swing at him, he fucking straight killed me. So I learned very quickly that, okay, so this game's now more difficult. I'm gonna have to block, kite, use range if I need to, and I ended up being able to take them apart by separating them and using magic. But oh boy, so it's like a new learning experience, like a whole new game for me. It's nice.
Yeah.
I like that as an idea though, because it makes it kind of more like almost a Dark Soulsy type action RPG combat situation, where it's like you have to manipulate the elements you're given, because otherwise you're going to get completely wrecked by the game stats. Like that's cool as hell to me.
So, and here's one other thing. I didn't choose blacksmith as a stat that I start with some points in. So my blacksmithing is at 0, which means I can't make anything. Like I can't go.
You can't even make a poop.
I can't craft the simplest of anything. So I am now like on the hunt in the game to figure out how to get a couple points into blacksmith so I can make a dagger or something to start building that skill up. And I think I have to befriend a blacksmith and then ask them to teach me how to blacksmith.
See, it kind of reminds me of like Greg Tech or other similar like Minecraft like big tech engine things where you have to like it deliberately downgrades what you can do early on in the game to make it difficult to get into the higher tech trees.
I mean that would make sense. I don't know. I've just been really enjoying it, so that's what I've been pretty much playing in the free time. That and some Dragon's Dogma.
Nice.
Oh boy. Okay, gentlemen. I think it's about time for maybe some O-dubs.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's
Some
go.
O-dubs. All right. SNOOD is an erectile fleshy protuberance attached to near the base of a turkey's beak.
Dislike, no.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's snood anatomy. Snood is a type of hood or hairnet. I'm sorry. That's snood headgear. Snood, the video game, is a puzzle video game programmed by Dave Dobson. Snood was originally released for Mac OS in 1996 as shareware, and then for MS-DOS and Microsoft Windows in 1999. An adaptation for the Game Boy Advance was developed by Rebellion Developments and released by Destination Software in 2001, and an iOS version was developed and released May 8th, 2009. And basically, as in Puzzle Bobble, you connect 3 or more identical snoods, making them disappear from the board when the board is cleared, the level advances. If the snoods reach the bottom of the screen, you lose a life. Playtime is not limited in most game modes. A sequel, Snood 2 On Vacation, was developed by Gravity Eye and released by Destination Software for the Game Boy Advance and the Nintendo DS in October 2005 and November 2005, respectively. And that's basically it. And then it goes into some gameplay and awards and stuff, which I'll cover some awards and stuff later. But
yeah, had no idea this game had a sequel. That's interesting.
I didn't know either. And that's another thing I want to touch on here in a little bit is the world of Snood, apparently. But so what were your guys' first experiences with this? Like, was this the first time you had ever played this?
Yeah, dude, this is the first time I ever heard of it. Was when you started bringing it up a little bit ago, and then you were just like, all right, we're playing it for the show this week. I was like, yep, this is the first time I ever played it. Faux show.
But when I saw it, I immediately thought it looked like a late 90s shareware, like Windows 3.1 game where you would like send in your request to get like the rest of the game unlocked. And it turns out it is that, even though it's still doing the same game monetizing status in 2022, which I think is that's beautiful. Mwah.
Yeah. Yeah. I do want to, I'll start off with that. So like my first experience with the game was way back in the day. My dad's mom, living down in Alpha, Florida, which is near like Naples, Fort Myers, like that area of Florida. She had this on her PC and I played it a lot. And the only things that I remember being hidden behind a registry were using the aimer on anything other than easy mode. I'm sorry, on child mode. And then some of the harder difficulties were locked. And I think the puzzle mode was locked. But other than that, like, you didn't have a limit to how many times you could play a day or in general. Like, I don't know exactly how the fuck it works, but I noticed in this version, and I hate to shit on it right off the bat, but this is the one bad thing I have to say about this version of Snood on Steam, is that it's got that phone game mentality of it gives you 15 coins and you use those coins to play. And once those are gone, you either can only play child mode, which is free, or you can pay to get more plays. I don't know how many reset in a 24-hour period. I think it was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 or something. It was not a lot. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Because back in the day, that was not a thing. You could play that game all fucking day long, but if you wanted to do the extra stuff, you had to register. And I will say, the registry price has been the same since the 90s, as far as I remember. So kudos to them for not raising that price. And I might even pay that, you know what I mean? But just the paywalling the amount of times you can play per day kind of bummed me out a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting choice because, like, I remember I started seeing that I was getting things in my Steam inventory. I was like, what are these little tokens I'm getting? Because I didn't even realize it was doing that at first. It's like, what are these tokens in my Steam inventory for this game? Then I realized, like, oh, I'm losing a token every time I play this game on easy or normal difficulty. Like, yikes.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't even catch that because I only barely played a few games on easy, but like, shit, like, I kind of do respect the fact that they held out to this ancient monetization scheme, you know? Like, it feels like they basically haven't advanced this game since, like, it feels like a Windows 3.1 game that only recently found out that Farmville existed.
Yeah.
And, like, there's no concept of the last 15 years of gaming here, which is strangely charming to me.
Yeah. And like I said, like, if I had like $100, I might drop $8 to register or whatever it is. But I don't know. But overall, like, this game is another one of those instances of just like a warm nostalgia blanket around me. You know,
very nice. I mean, you mentioned Bust a Move or Puzzle Bobble on the ODubs, and like that's what this is. It is essentially that same game, but like the way that it determines how you're progressing is a little different too.
Yeah, I thought that it was interesting. Like, in that era, there were a lot of people programming games like this for PC that were like games on console. You know what I mean? Like Puzzle Bobble and things like that. I don't think you could play those on PC. So I'm sure this guy was like, well, I could make a version of that and put it on computer and people would love it, you know?
And love it enough that it was noted as like well enough loved that they got it ported back to consoles. Like there was a Game Boy Advance version of this game.
Yeah. Yeah, which looks wildly different. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at that clip I sent you of the Game Boy Advance play.
I didn't look at it.
I did briefly look at it. I was a little surprised that it did kind of use the same faces, though.
Okay, that might have been a different version that I sent a video of then, because here, I'm going to send you guys real quick the cover of the Game Boy Advance version. And that's what the Snoods look like in the Game Boy Advance version.
Oh, wow, okay. They're similar, but different, yeah.
Yeah, they're like updated almost. But I don't know, there's something about the original way that the Snoods look, and again, it's probably because I played it when I was super young, so I just know those faces. But I love those little things.
No, and I get that completely, because like you guys have both said, it reminds us of all of those shareware games that we had on our PCs when we were little that all had that weird kind of MS Paint-y graphic style. Like it holds up in a weird way that I think only people in our age range would understand.
The feeling is like, if you grew up and you had like Game Empire discs and you grew up in like you played like Chopper Commando and you were like, oh shit, this is a good game. Like that is the kind of feeling that this game brings to
I can't imagine it's like a Zoomer opening this game and being like, that looks cool.
No, yeah, absolutely not. Dude,
yeah, this is definitely of its time in a lot of ways, but holy shit. There's just some shit. I
just read a little further into the ODubs, and dude, the Snoods have names.
Of course.
Oh,
I didn't realize that. Okay, so the blue Snood, his name is Jake. Now, you guys might have to help me with the pronunciation of the green one. The green one name is Midoribe, Midoribe. Midoribe?
Hold on. Can you link me the page real quick?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you're saying Midori, which is Japanese for green.
I
will pop onto that real quick.
It might be like Midori with BE on the end. But yeah.
Yeah, Midoribe.
Yeah, Midoribe. That's the green one. The gray one is Mildred, which of course it is. Because if any of one of them
does look like a Mildred, though. She really does.
If any of them have an old lady name, it's definitely the gray one.
I know the character you're talking about. That one does look like a Mildred.
So the purple guy is Spike. The red one is Zod.
He looks like a Zod, dude, for sure.
Neo before Zod.
And I think light blue shows up later. I don't remember if I saw light blue in my player. But light blue's name is Geji. Geji, Geji. And then the yellow one is, of course, named Sunny.
Sunny D's.
Sunny D's nuts.
Got
him. Beat him to it. Woo. But yeah, that's cool, man. I didn't realize they had names until just now, so I'm just like, what? This is news to me. I wonder if they got names later.
Maybe. Did y'all play it long enough? Like, I didn't see this until medium difficulty, where it would have like this weird looking brick in your little launcher that didn't look like any of the Snoods. But like when you shot it out, it happened to me one time, and now that I have a name for it. But basically, I shot it out, and it put 5 more Mildreds on my screen.
Yep. Yeah, I had that exact. Yeah, because I was looking. I had never seen that before. So that is a new mechanic to me in Snood, which was just mind-boggling to me. So yeah, that absolutely stood out. I'm like, what is this little flashing looking medallion thing? And when I shot it and it just popped a line of Mildreds, I was like, Well, that didn't fucking help me at all.
No, and the worst part is I popped it on a Mildred, not knowing that. And so like then I had, and it didn't get rid of the Mildred. So now I just had 6 Mildreds together.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder if maybe it's a thing where whatever you shoot it at, it gives you 6 of that.
Maybe.
And it would be funny if it, either that or it just gives you Mildred, or if me and you just accidentally both shot it at a Mildred. That's hilarious. But yeah, man, like I ended up playing up to medium. I didn't get any further than that. I ran out of tokens. But it basically just progressively gets like I said to you guys, for lack of a better term, the map gets bigger. Yeah. Like there's more snoods.
Did you win any on medium, Dalton?
No.
Okay. It's like I didn't lose until medium. Then medium was just like, haha, screw you, buddy.
I lost a few times on easy because I would fuck up and get mad and just go, God damn it, and just click a bunch of times.
Relatable.
But no, I mean, it didn't really get stupid hard until medium. And I can only imagine like Armageddon and those ones like where it makes me want to register just to see how big that level is.
Yeah. I'm just over here doing fan art of the game.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Snood Satan. The one thing that this game does, and I don't know if I don't remember it doing to me as much back then, so I don't know if it's almost like an arcade thing to make you drain tokens. But there was a couple times I would shoot something and I would get rid of it. So like there would be like 4 snoods left on the screen, and say like 3 blue and a green. So it would give me a blue and I'd shoot it and get rid of the blues, and then it would give me like 4 more blues before it would give me a green again. And I was like, why?
I felt like if the game was better managed, it would like not do that. But on the other hand, like there is a kind of a solution to that where it's like you can stack that one color on top of the existing one and hope that you can get enough of the bottom one to kill it. But, like, I don't know. It did feel like you were kind of leaning on RNG towards the end of the match.
I mean, you can say that, but I feel like games like Dr. Mario did the same thing.
Yeah.
Except Dr. Mario didn't limit the number of pills you could have before you would just fucking die.
Wasn't that the whole mechanic of Dr. Mario? If you had too many pills on the screen, you died?
Yeah, except you could still stack them and move them, whereas in this game, it would literally just push the thing down below the bottom.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh,
like yeah, I feel like you could skillfully handle pieces in Dr. Mario, whereas in this it was, I don't know, a little arbitrary whether you could win or not.
Speaking of games like that, really quickly, I have to bring this up because I saw it on PlayStation Access, so I tried it out on the Switch, and it's 100% true. I played Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Mm-hmm. Level 2 is unbeatable.
I beat level 2.
Dude, that motherfucker drops shit so fast, he's throwing rocks at me so fast that I'm like, I'm just going to reset and play level 1 again. Like, what the fuck? It was so
He does drop it. He drops it immediately, but he doesn't always drop it in a place that makes any sense. So, like, if you can outlive the original attack, you can hit him back really hard.
Okay, well, I did not. I
didn't beat the third guy, though, so, you know what? It's not an easy game.
Yeah, that game's hard as fuck. But anyways, so I am interested in the harder levels. Like I said, I might even... after I do some yard work this week, which apparently I'm going to be doing a lot of coming up, I'm going to probably do the little registration because I think it's just a one-time thing. You just pay the $7.99 and you can access to all of it. Because I am interested, especially in the puzzles, like how they would do the puzzle levels or the adventure. There's an adventure like theme one, which would be cool to me. It's again like I liked those old shareware adventure games too that were just fucking weird.
Yeah.
Some awards, though, that this game got. Steve Wozniak, co-founder of Apple Inc., lists Snood as one of his favorite games. I guess that's a recognition, not an award.
I mean, yeah, but it's Steve Wozniak. That is kind of an important name in the history of computers and all that shit. Like, that is kind of fucking crazy.
Jupiter Media Metrics found in 2001 that Snood was the 9th most played game with 1.5 million unique users. This was most notable because most of the games on the list came from various versions of Windows, such as Solitaire and things like that. The addictive qualities of the game have been described in an article as Snood. At least it's not crack. In 2004, it received the Shareware Industry Award for the Best Action/Arcade Game. Snood has been used regularly by the Ronald McDonald House staff at Stanford University as a tool to teach seriously ill children.
Teach them what?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just thinking. It has also been used as a palliative for patients who are undergoing chemotherapy, bone marrow transplants, and dialysis. Word? Snood be out there doing shit.
Fucking good for you, Snood.
Yeah, right. And it was also voted one of the top things on the web to make you happy, or one of the top 10 things on the web to make you happy, by the Daily News in 2009.
All right.
So yeah, that's some Snood, man. Like, I don't know what else we could say about it other than like I said, I compared the versions of the Game Boy Advance and stuff, and it just looks way different. I did though come upon a website called snoodworld.com, and you want to be careful to type that properly, I'm sure.
Send nudes, Snood.
Yeah, that guy was before his time. So on this website, it lists all the different versions of Snood and Snood spinoffs that you can purchase, and where you can. It has links to where you can purchase them. So I'm going to read through these because some of these stick out to me. So we have Snood Advance, which is the Game Boy Advance version. You can get it for Windows, and I think it took me to the Microsoft Store. So like, don't quote me on this, but it would be hilarious if Snood Advance is on Game Pass. It would just be really funny to me for some reason. The original Snood, which is what we played, is available. Snood Redude.
What a name.
Yeah, that's hard to say. That was like, yeah, I had to make sure I was saying that right. It just says Snood Redude introduces a tasty new generation of Snood games. All new Snoodity. That's
yeah.
Yes, bitch. With redesigned characters and levels. It include 3 gameplay modes. That's available for like mobile and tablet. You can get Snood 2011 for Macs. There's a game called Chowder, which is a game from Dave Dobson that looks interesting. I don't know how to describe what I'm looking at here, but it looks like a game. There's Snood Towers, which is a puzzle game that will test your intellect rather than reflexes. Snood Solitaire, which is just solitaire with Snood characters on the cards. What the fuck? Snood Slide. It's like the sliding puzzle game. Snood Plus, Snood Swap, Snood Poppers,
Snood Poppers. All right.
Yeah, Snood Poppers.
Popper, wow.
This is a super action puzzle game from Word of Mouse Games. Your goal is to transport all of the Snoods away by matching 3 or more until the level is complete. When the Snoods get into the Snood Eater, time will reverse, and you get another chance. That's so strange. Snoodoku.
Sudoku.
The 11th Snood, which looks like a shifting puzzle game, where you, and then the original Snood, the original is what it's called. So I don't know which one this is the original DOS version. It looks like. So there's a lot of fucking Snood games, bro. I thought there was one.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
And none of those are counting Snood 2 on Vacation, which apparently exists too.
I'm all about the Snoodity, man.
Yeah, the Snoodity, that is fucking tremendous. Oh man,
It's all about the Snood and how you play it.
oh lord. Oh man, speaking of WrestleMania this weekend, woo! You know, I'm more excited to watch the Hall of Fame for Undertaker's induction than I am for anything that's going to happen on WrestleMania. Like, I'm going to shed some man tears watching that fucking Undertaker thing, guaranteed. But yeah, gentlemen, we talked about some Snood. You got anything else that you want to bring up?
I think I'm all snooded out.
I drew the little hexagon
Nice.
Not
guy. Hope
bad.
you love it.
Not
Okay,
bad.
bye.
All right.
Wait,
then
someone's happy there.
I'm going to do some house cleaning.
Well, we got to rate the game, bud.
Oh, fuck. You are absolutely right. Dude, I didn't even think about rating this because it's just like, I don't know. Okay.
I don't know how you rate a game like this.
So, okay. The original version that I played, I would give like a 7.5. It's a really fun little puzzle game. This version on Steam, because of the limitations, I'm going to give it a 6.5. But it's still a really good game.
Yeah. I definitely enjoyed it for what it was. I think it's a good game, but like you said, it has so many games that are also kind of similar to it. I'd kind of rather just be playing Puzzle Bobble than this game at the same time. But I still thought it was good, and I like Puzzle Bobble a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and give this 7 Mildred's Out of Zods.
All right.
Oh, that's adorable. Oh my god. I'm gonna give it a 6, man. I'm sorry to be like the downer or whatever, but like, it's a cool game. It's just also really dated, and I feel like I should be able to play it in a video game, like not in a Steam window, but rather in a browser window. And the fact that I can't is kind of a bummer, because fuck you, bring back Flash.
Old Flash, man. There is an emulator that I have on my computer that is specifically for Newgrounds Flash stuff.
Oh yeah, the Newgrounds player is apparently pretty awesome.
Yeah, I have
like, Ruffle
what?
on here so I can like play some random Flash, but it doesn't do anything with ActionScript 3, so it's kind of mostly unusable.
Nah, it was cool to play Skull Kid again, because Skull Kid was fun.
Nice.
Now you can clean the house, Dalton.
Now I can clean the house. Okay. All right. Well then, if
it's a clean
house. If you would like to join our Discord, you can hop over to bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. Come in there, say hello, join in on the chat, contribute to the fan poll that once a month, or I guess it'll be what? Oh yeah, we'll touch on that in a second. Once in a while, we do we do our host picks in a row, and then we do the fan hosted pick. So if you want to come into the Discord and vote on the fan hosted pick, by all means do that. Come join in, talk about anime. There's a whole channel for that. Talk about food, talk about gaming in general. If you just want to send us your best memes, I'm all about it. So come hang out in the Discord, bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. If you want to be super awesome and you really like the show and you'd like to help us keep the show going, or help us just to pay some bills, as a patreon.com/the Steam Machine Podcast, where a single dollar will get you all of our Patreon content that we've released, and it also gets you your episodes early each week whenever we record them, and that is just $1. But if you want to get an extra special shout out,
you also get access to the early chat, which this episode, I think we did 45-ish minutes of talk about RPGs before the show even started. So
that's right. Yeah, the bullshit before the bullshit. Wrong show. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, but if you want to do an extra special, if you want to be the extra special Patreon and you want to get your name read out on each episode, it's $10 a month. And we super appreciate those people, and that's why they get their names read out on the show. And they are: 1, Nate Sir Cogsworth of 7th of Juniper, Jeff the Original Expendable, Mr. Syllables himself, old Jeffy Lube, and Erisa Adam. Shout out to his podcast, Revival and Extinction.
Thank you all for making this show possible. It means a ton to us. Even if you only donate like $1, the fact that you give us money because you want to hear our show is mind-boggling. Like, it means a ton to me that you want to hear us.
Jawohl, absolutely. If you want a cool shirt, you can go over to tsmpproductions.threadless.com, get you a shirt with our logo on it. If you like our music, that's my stuff. You can go to nilethenightmare.bandcamp.com, and you can pick up some music albums there. And last but not least, shout out to YABSPOD, yet another BS podcast. If you like hearing me chat and stuff, that's just a podcast I do with my buddy Jeremy, where we just talk about whatever the community wants to hear about. And and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Give us a good rating on Spotify. We'd really appreciate that. And you can find buttons to all of that, including the stuff that Nate's about to bring up, on bit.ly/the Steam. I was trying to get all of that out. I was trying to get all of that out before that cough came up, and it did not happen.
Almost. Next time.
bit.ly/the Steam Machine Podcast, capitalized phonetically, has links to all that shit I've mentioned, plus...
Yes. Okay, Dalton. Sorry. I think Dalton got a little confused there, guys. It's okay. So if y'all want to check me out, I'm on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok at TurtleBearMan on my retro game bullcrap most of the time. Sometimes I do other stuff, but that's the main gist of it. And I just like to have a good time. Holla at your boy. Follow me.
Hold on, real quick. I gotta say, I gestured to you and then looked at the camera and realized that I was gesturing under the camera, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" I was like, "Oh, he can't see what I'm doing." That's why everybody's just looking at me like, "Dalton, what the fuck are you doing?" Oh, sorry, Willie. You got anything you'd like to plug or promote, brother?
Man, I mean, shit.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's all I got.
All right. Well, for the destructive...
Actually, no, I actually would like to plug something. I've been watching a lot of videos by a YouTube channel called The 8-Bit Guy. A guy does a lot of like videos about 8-bit hardware, especially like Commodore 64 computers and shit like that. I think it's been really neat. So if you want to learn more about the history of the Commodore computer...
Hey, so you may have noticed that Willie got cut off mid-sentence right there. But do go check out the YouTube channel that he was talking about, because it did interest me and Nate. So from that point on, I goofed and lost the rest of the recording. So I am here to fill in that gap because I am an idiot. So basically how we wrapped up the show was Willie's next choice, and the game we'll be playing 2 weeks from now, which I'll touch on in a second, is going to be Kerbal Space Program, which is awesome. I've been looking forward to learning some astrophysics. And that actually got gifted to us recently. And I was like, oh, perfect. Well, he wants to play that. We just got it from, I believe it was Tux Deluxe. And boom, there we go. We're good to go. So we are also going to be moving the show to a bi-weekly format, because just with Nate's new job with scheduling, and just to relieve some stress of trying to pack these games into 1 week. I think that bi-weekly is going to work out a lot better. I apologize if that throws a wrench into any of your schedules with the show or anything. On the off weeks, you can still catch me on yet another BS podcast with Jeremy, what I lovingly call YABSPOD. But Steam Machine will be bi-weekly, and we hope that that'll give us more time to dive deep into these games so we can give you more thorough episodes about them. And not only that, that kind of opens it up to, again, we can start throwing in longer games because we don't have to worry about, time constraints and things like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope it ends up benefiting all of us, including you, the listeners, who we very much appreciate. And they're not here, but I know from Nate and Willie and myself, we just thank you guys for even being here to listen to us. So on that note, we will see you in 2 weeks with some Kerbal Space Program. As always, guys, take it easy.